going on, guys? Welcome to this episode of Latest on Sports Podcast. I'm your favorite host, Jake, and today we have got some crazy news for you guys. As you probably read in the title, and as you probably know from the thumbnail, today we were given the news from the Miami Police that former 30th overall pick in last year's draft by the New York Giants cornerback out of Georgia, Deandre Baker, and Seahawks new corner Quinton Dunbar have been charged with aggravated assault and robbery. How absurd. So Miami Police said today that Deandre Baker is charged with 4 counts of armed robbery and 4 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm. This is crazy and terrible news for the Giants organization. As you guys know, we are Latest on Sports Podcast. We're going to look at this from a sports perspective. The Giants just lost their promising young cornerback because he's getting arrested. Basically, they both have warrants out for their arrest. I don't think they've been arrested yet, but they're going to get arrested. Deandre Baker, as we said earlier, was the 30th overall pick in last year's draft. He started 15 games as a rookie last season. He missed 1 game as a rookie last season. Granted, the defensive back group for the Giants was nothing to awe about, but still, I mean, this was a promising young player, and the Giants, they had to trade up to get that pick, and now they have just lost their 30th overall pick. They lost a first-round pick. On the side of Quinton Dunbar, Dunbar has been charged with 4 counts of armed robbery. Supposedly, what happened is there was an argument at a cookout, and Deandre Baker had taken out a gun. And, during this big argument, apparently, Deandre Baker got upset, and so he just whipped out his gun. And then he robbed people at the cookout. TMZ reported that Baker had told somebody to shoot someone. I would take that with a grain of salt because TMZ is not always the most accurate when reporting. They just want to take the first rumors they can and spit it out for media attention. But don't hate on TMZ. Just saying, we don't want to spread false information, so we can't tell for sure that is true, so we're not going to say it's true. But, if it is true, that's crazy that he's acting like this. There was reportedly getaway cars at the scene, which means that this was planned ahead of time. Deandre Baker and Quinton Dunbar, 2 NFL players. Deandre Baker, a rising star in the NFL, and they planned a robbery at a cookout. As I said earlier, they both have warrants out for their arrest. On the side of Quinton Dunbar, in terms of football, the Seahawks had just signed him to pair with, Shaquille Barrett. The Seahawks defensive back group is, it's solid. I'm not sure Quinton Dunbar would have been an impact player for them, but, nevertheless, obviously they signed him for a reason, and they signed him to contribute to this football team. And the fact that he is going to jail and can no longer contribute to this football team is absurd. For me, I think the craziest thing is Deandre Baker. He's so young. He played 1 year. And he played really well. Really, really well. As I said earlier, started 15 games. Former 30th overall pick out of Georgia. So, in the sports world, this is absolutely shocking news. Deandre Baker is charged with 8 counts of felony, and Quinton Dunbar is only charged with 4. And when I say only, that, just sounds absolutely ludicrous, but it's only half of what Deandre Baker has been charged with. So, this will be interesting to see what happens to these franchises. I don't think I know for a fact the franchises aren't going to get punished, but, figuratively they'll get punished because they're losing players on their team. More impactfully, the Giants will be punished, but, the NFL is not going to take any action against these teams for having these guys on their team. Obviously, they did not see this coming. Otherwise, they wouldn't have signed him, and in Deandre Baker's case, they would not have drafted him if they saw those type of character issues, which to me is almost the most shocking part about this all, is Deandre Baker was just drafted last year. And now, for those of you guys who don't know, at the Combine, at the Senior Bowl, I actually don't know if Deandre Baker went to the Senior Bowl, but, at the Combine and all that, you get interviews, right? You sit down with teams and you interview, and teams hire specific players, specific personnel, where their only role on the team is to interview people. And these are really, dominant authoritarian speakers that get exactly what they want out of every single player. And they control the conversation. And this is crazy. I mean, Deandre Baker, during this draft in 2019, was supposed to go, right about this. right about this area, being picked 30. So this wasn't necessarily a shock that he fell so far, but I just think it's crazy that maybe all other 31 teams did see this, and so that's the reason they didn't draft him, is they saw these character issues during this conversation. But the Giants obviously did not see this. Again, with a grain of salt, we don't know if this is just something that randomly happened or if this is a character issue that's been plaguing him for a long time. But, essentially to wrap it up, if you're a Giants fan, this is a terrible day for you. You're going to lose an up-and-coming star on your football team who was, I'm going to say for the third time or fourth time, he was the 30th overall pick last year. And that's just crazy to me that a rookie who had such a productive, good season is going to get himself in 4 counts of felony, and the Seahawks are going to lose a contributor on their team. So, not a whole lot of content within this story, mostly just something that's absolutely shocking. So if you guys like the content, please leave a like. Consider subscribing. Right now, I think we're one subscriber away from 50 subscribers. So if you want to help us out, be that guy, be our 50th subscriber. You can follow us on Instagram too, at Latest on Sports Podcast. We're pretty active on there. If anything shocking happens, we'll post it on our Instagram as well. But like I said, just thank you guys for tuning in. Leave a like if you liked it. If you've got anything that you want us to talk about or any players to reach out for interviews, just leave that in the comments. We'll get right back to you. So, I hope you guys are staying safe during these times, and thank you guys for tuning in.